The Shark-Headed Bear Thing, Chapter 5. Where is it? Where did they go? Paradise demanded. I don't know, Ben admitted. He cast his gaze across the woods, searching for any sign of the monster. It was right here. You let it get away! Paradise yelped. A shaky voice rose up from the well. Everything all right up there? We heard shouting and screaming and something about toenails. Paradise and Ben leaned over the edge of the well again. It was the monster, Paradise said. It took the mare. We're going after him. Ben looked up. How? He said. We don't know which way he went. Paradise's eyes met his. I'll find them. Even if you can, that thing looked pretty nasty. It's too dangerous. Maybe... Now listen to me, Benjamin, Paradise said. I set off 3 days ago to find someone who could help, and I found you. I don't know why, but I found you. You fought monsters before, you said. Ben nodded. Yep, he said a little too quickly. I definitely have. Then you're the only one who can help me, Paradise continued. And you wanted to come, remember? So don't you dare go chickening out on me now. No, it's just... He's my dad, Paradise said, stopping Ben in his tracks. Ben stared. Is he? Well, no, Paradise admitted. Not really. I mean, sort of. There's no time to explain. We have to go after him. Ben nodded slowly. Then he pointed down into the well. What about them? Shouldn't we get them out? Out? No chance. We're staying down here where it's safe. Okay, well, in case you change your mind, Ben spun the handle that lowered the bucket down into the well. Ooh, yeah, Ben winced. Sorry again. Let's go, urged Paradise, and she set off running towards the wall of trees. Ben hurried to keep up with her. How do you know the way? He asked. They could be anywhere. I told you I can find anything, she replied, not slowing. There's this sort of compass in my head. That must hurt, Ben said. Well, obviously it's not a real compass, Paradise sighed. It's just this feeling. I think about what I need to find and it leads me to it. It hasn't let me down yet and it won't let me down now. Although it did take you 3 days to find me, Ben pointed out. And I just live down the road. I never said it always takes me the most direct route, Paradise replied, not looking back. They pushed further into the forest, Paradise in front, Ben scrambling along behind. The trees seemed to close around them, and the branches whipping and grabbing at them as they hurried on. The canopy of leaves overhead blocked out the sun, casting the forest floor into deep shadow. So, the mare's your dad then? Ben called, tripping and stumbling through a tangle of roots. Yes, Paradise replied. No, sort of. It's a long story. He took me in when I was a baby and looked after me. Hey, you're just like me, said Ben. Ha, you wish. Paradise ducked a low-hanging branch and clambered over a fallen trunk. The forest rose up around them in all directions, but Paradise raced on. Almost there, she said. The forest seemed to be thinning a little. The trees were no longer packed so tightly, and shafts of sunlight poked through the leaves above. Paradise began to run faster, and Ben had to work hard to close the gap. He was only a few meters behind her when he saw her dash past the final few trees and out of the forest. Stop! She cried, but Ben was running too fast. He exploded from the forest, headed straight for the edge of a deep ravine. His boots skidded on the mossy ground. The edge came up quickly. There was no way to stop. He was going to... Saved your life, said Paradise, catching him by the back of his tunic. Ben jolted to a stop with his toes sticking out over the edge. Beneath them was a lot of empty space, followed by a long fall to a river far below. From up there, the river looked like a piece of blue thread tangling its way across a rough stone floor. If Paradise hadn't caught him, it would have taken a good few minutes for him to splatter against the ground. Slowly, Ben stepped back from the edge. Paradise released her grip. What is this? Ben asked, peering down into the crevasse. Deathsplat Canyon. Haven't you been here before? Paradise asked. Ben shook his head. But it's only a couple miles from Lump. You said you've travelled all over the place fighting monsters. I do, said Ben quickly. I usually go a different way. Paradise eyed him suspiciously for a moment, then gave a shrug. Come on, she said. The bridge is this way. It took just a few minutes for them to reach the bridge, although calling it a bridge was being quite generous, Ben thought. It was a little more than 2 long ropes strung across the canyon with planks of wood slung across them. The wood looked damp and rotten, and the ropes creaked as they rocked back and forth on the breeze. It seemed like an impossibly long way to the other side of the canyon, where the path led up a hillside and into another forest. The bridge drooped lower in the middle, and Ben was sure he could see spaces where planks had crumbled and fallen away. "And this is definitely the right way?" he asked. Paradise nodded. "There's somewhere on the other side," she said, "but I'm not convinced this bridge is safe." Ben swallowed. "Oh, of course it's safe," he said, doing his best to sound confident. He pointed to a small wooden sign that was set into the ground beside them. It said, "Only 2 persons on bridge at any one time, or 1 ogre, or half a giant." "See? 2 persons," Ben said. He pointed to himself and Paradise in turn. 1, 2. "Trust me, it's fine." He placed a foot on the first plank. It groaned beneath his weight, but held firm. Ben realized he was holding his breath and let it out in a sigh of relief. "There. See? Nothing to worry about." They picked their way slowly across the bridge, being careful never to stand on the same plank at the same time. As they got closer to the middle, the wind began to buffer them back and forth. They were almost halfway across when Paradise stopped. "I think it's going to break." Ben shook his head. "It won't. The wood's rotten," Paradise said. "I heard it creak. It's going to break." "It can hold 2 people, remember?" Ben said. "And you're so small, we're probably not even 1.5. Look." He bounced up and down on the plank he was standing on. It groaned noisily in complaint, and the whole bridge wobbled violently. "Stop that!" Paradise yelped. "Cut it out. I'm warning you, Ben." Ben grinned. "It's fine. Trust me, this wood is not going to break." The wood broke. One moment Ben was there, the next he wasn't. Paradise gasped and peered over the side of the bridge, expecting to see him tumbling down towards the ground far below, but she didn't. He was nowhere to be seen. She crept onto the next plank and looked down through the hole Ben had made. He smiled shakily up at her through the gap. His hands were gripping the ropes that held the bridge together, his feet dangling helplessly below him. "Okay, so maybe that one was rotten," he admitted. "But the rest of them are fine." "I'm afraid I would have to disagree with that," said a voice from nearby. Ben looked along the bridge. There, just a few planks ahead of him, another boy was hanging on just like he was. The boy wore a long red robe with silver moons and stars embroidered onto it. The outfit billowed around him in the stiff breeze. Hello?" said Ben. "Good morning," said the boy, his voice trembling. "Who are you?" Ben asked. Wesley Chant," said the boy. "I'd shake your hand, but it's possibly not the best time." Ben nodded. "Can you climb up?" "Afraid not," said Wesley. "I'm entirely paralyzed by fear. I can't even blink," he added, and his voice became a slightly hysterical whisper. Paradise looked down at the boy through a gap in the planks. "How long have you been hanging there?" "Let me think," the boy said. He mumbled a few numbers below his breath, then announced, "Since Tuesday." "What?" said Ben. "But today's Thursday." "Is it?" asked Wesley. "Already? Doesn't time fly?" Ben's muscles tightened as he began to haul himself back onto the bridge. "I'll pull you up. Wait there." "I shall endeavour to do my best," Wesley replied. "Wait," said Paradise, as Ben clambered back up through the hole. "I've just thought of something." Ben paused halfway through the gap. "What?" She pointed to herself. 1, she pointed to Ben. 2, she pointed to Wesley. 3, "Oh," said Ben, remembering the sign. "Bum." And then, with a loud snap, the bridge began to fall.